Bereit? Gefunden? Shri Vijay Gauranga Doyal Nitai Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Seimora Sampada Seimor Bhajana Pujana Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Seimora Sampada Seimor Bhajana Pujana Seimora Pranadana Seimora Barana Seimor Jivanera Jivana Seimora Pranadana Seimora Barana Seimor Jivanera Jivana Seimora Rasanidhi Seimora Vanchasidhi Seimor Vederadarama Seimora Rasanidhi Seimora Vanchasidhi Seimor Vederadarama Sei Brata Sei Tapa Seimora Mantra Japa Seimor Dharma Karama Sei Vrata Sei Tapa Seimora Mantra Japa Seimor Dharma Karama Anukula Habevidi Sei Pade Hoi Besidi Mirakibo Eduinayane Anukula Habevidi Sei Pade Hoi Besidi Mirakibo Eduinayane Serupa Madhuri Rashi Pranakuvalaya Shashi Prapulita Habenishidine Serupa Madhuri Rashi Pranakuvalaya Shashi Prapulita Habenishidine Tuva Adashanahi Garale Jaralo Dehi Shirodina Tapita Jivana Tuva Adashanahi Garale Jaralo Dehi Shirodina Tapita Jivana Haharupa Korodoya Deho More Padachaya Narotama Loilo Sharana Haharupa Korodoya Deho Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Seimora Sampada Seimor bhajana pujana Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Sei Mora Sampada Sei Mor Bhajana Pujana. So, Übersetzung, translation. The lotus feet of Srila Rupa Manjari are my treasure, my devotional service, and my object of worship. They give my life meaning, and they are the life of my life. They are the perfection of rasa, and they are perfection worthy of attainment. They are the very law of the Vedic scriptures to me. They are the meaning of all my fasts and penances and my silent uttering of my mantras. They are the basis of religion and activities. By the purifying process of favorable devotional service, one will attain perfection and with these two eyes be able to see. His transcendental form is shining like moonlight in my heart, and my heart therefore shines and reciprocates. In other words, the ordinary moon lights up the night. The ordinary moon lights up the night, and its shine illuminates other objects. But the moon of the effulgence of the form of Rupa Manjari shines into the heart and makes the heart also shine back to the spiritual heart sky. This moon shines not only in the nighttime, but day and night. Your absence from my vision is like a dose of strong poison, and I will suffer till the end of my life. Narottam Das Thakur says, please give me your mercy at the shade of your lotus feet. So this is the very famous song. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was leaving his body in the last days in Jagannath Puri. He wanted to hear this song. So he asked his disciples, particularly Sridhar Swami, to sing this song for him, Shri Rupa Manjari Pada. And Sridhar Swami was the, you can say, the most scholarly or advanced devotee in Gaudiya Math at that time. And he asked Sridhar Swami to sing, although Sridhar Swami was not a good singer. Sridhar Swami was, I read this interview, he said, I'm not a good singer, but Bhaktisiddhanta wanted to hear from him because he wanted to continue the mood of purity is the force. Because we know from Rupa Goswami was the most, you can say, celebrated devotee or the most intimate or closest devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Rupa Goswami was not even sannyasi. He was not even, brahmachari, or he was a grihasta. And according to the worldly activities, he was employed with the Muslims, with the untouchables. So, not a high status in the society, you can say, Hindu society. But he was, although he was working as more or less as a king's, ersatz, replacement, when king would not be there, he would run, him and Sanatana Goswami would run the kingdom. So they were the most intelligent and most educated people. But they were, in Hindu world, they were not elevated. So therefore, this is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that he gave the mercy and empowers people who are not even, according to these standards, elevated. So Rupa Goswami is we are all Rupanugas. Our movement, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, is based on this, that we are Rupanugas, we are followers of the Rupa Goswami. Anyway, so I sang this. We speak about Rupa Goswami a little later. Now we sing Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayurada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayurada Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai. So, um 8 gibt es Drama Practice. Theater Practice um 8. Das ist Srimad Bhagavatam Class. Ah? Wahnsinn. Bitte? Niemand hat mir Nachricht geschickt. Jetzt Theater Practice. So, by their endeavors were also clouded with trouble from officials. The police arrested us the last day. What is this? Is this English? The police arrested us the last day, 2 days ago in Split, because is it Theaterpractice geht gerade? Weißt du was? Theaterpractice geht gerade?
Keine Ahnung, das weiß ich nicht.
The police arrested us the last day in Split because 2 different persons reported us. They searched through the car and they found everything, but instead of making trouble for the records, books, etc., they were satisfied that they could not find the things they were looking for, weapons and drugs. One man reported that we make propaganda which is against the will of the Yugoslavian state. Therefore, the police suggested us to leave Yugoslavia. In the same time, they said that so far we didn't do anything far out for what they can throw us out, but they suspected that what we are doing, so we shall leave, they said. We came to Dubrovnik and today we were arrested by the police again. They searched through the van again, and after 3 hours we were free again. I think soon we get used to that some hours of the day we spend at the police station. He ended optimistically. The enthusiasm is great. I think we work together nicely with Prabhu Jaka, who would like to continue these programs. How is Srila Prabhupada? Please write some nectar about him. So the devotees were, in the beginning, they were arrested, and they were still going on preaching. Now nobody's arresting us, and we are not preaching so much. So maybe we need some kind of impetus. Anyways, that was it from Kaisori Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 6.12.35. Vritrasya deha nishkrantam. Vritrasya deha nishkrantam. Atma Jyotir Arindama Pashyatam sarvadevanam Alokan samapadyata Vritrasya deha nishkrantam Atma jyotir arindama Pashyatam sarvadevanam Alokan samapadyata
Vitrasya deham nishkantam Atma yotirandama Pasyatam savadevanam Alokam samapadyata
Vitasya dea nishkantam
Vitrasya deham nishkantam
Atma jutir arindama
Atma yotirandama
Ashyatam sarvadevanam
Pasyatam savadevanam
Alokam samapadyata
Alokam samapadyata Vitrasya deham nishkantam Atma yotirandama Pasyatam savadevanam Alokam samapadyata
Vritya, where am I? Vritrasya of Vritrasura, Dehat from the body, Nishkrantam coming out, Atma Jyoti, the spirit soul which was as brilliant as the effulgence of Brahman. Arindama, O King Parikshit, subduer of enemies. Pashyatam, were watching. Sarvadevanam, while all the demigods. Alokam, the supreme abode, filled with the Brahman effulgence. Samapadyata, achieved. O King Parikshit, subduer of enemies, the living spark then came forth from Vritrasura's body and returned home back to Godhead. While all the demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarshan. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Indra, not Vritrasura, was actually killed. He says that when Vritrasura swallowed King Indra and his carrier, the elephant, he thought, now I have killed Indra, and therefore there is no more need of fighting. Now let me return home back to Godhead. Thus he stopped all his bodily activities and became situated in trance. Taking advantage of the silence of Vritrasura's body, Indra pierced the demon's abdomen, and because of Vritrasura's trance, Indra was able to come out. Now Vritrasura was in a yoga samadhi, and therefore, although King Indra wanted to cut his throat, the demon's neck was so stiff that Indra's thunderbolt took 360 days to cut it to pieces. Actually, it was the body left by Vritrasura that was cut to pieces by Indra. Vritrasura himself was not killed. In his original consciousness, Vritrasura returned home, back to Godhead, to become an associate of Lord Sankarsana. Here the word Alokam means the transcendental world, Vaikuntha Loka, where Sankarshan eternally resides. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 6th canto, 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Vritrasura's Glorious Death. O King Parikshit, subduer of enemies, the living spark then came forth from Vritrasura's body and returned home back to Godhead. While all the demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarshan. So this is some amazing pastime of Vritrasura and Indra. And the reason why we are listening to this pastime is because this is connected to Krishna. All the Srimad Bhagavatam stories, some of them are understandable, many of them are not understandable, and this is probably one of them. How can somebody swallow somebody and then this person is still alive? This is not understandable. And the person swallows another person, and not just another person. This Indra, the Lord, the master of the heavenly planets. He's the most elevated mystical power person, and you can swallow such person. How is this possible? We don't understand this, but what we can understand is what is connected to Krishna, and what is connected to Krishna. The story is connected to Krishna. And therefore the Puranas, the Srimad Bhagavatam particularly, are worthy of listening because they're all connected to Krishna. And Vritrasura, when he died, his spark, meaning his soul which actually is Vritrasura, left the body. So this is the point here, number one, that we call him Vritrasura, but in reality he's this spark, a little soul, little spark in this huge, gigantic, demoniac body. So we also sometimes, we also get, you can say, carried away, or we can, call this person or that person, or I like this person, I don't like this person, or this person is my friend, but in reality, it's all spiritual sparks, which have nothing to do with the body, like nothing to do with the body. It's just somehow or other, by the misfortunate circumstances, this person or us, whoever is in the material world, is encaged, like in a cage in this body. And once this body is changed, it's over. Then next upadhi, next designation, and then we again born by some parents, and then born in a certain piece of land, and we think this is my land, or this is my parent, these are my parents. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains that millions and millions of parents we had before. Millions of parents, because to get birth in this material world as a human being, we have to have a father and mother. So it has to be, connection, physical connection between two persons, female and male, and automatically these people become your parents. And by the providence of nature, by the laws of nature, the parents become attached to a child, the child becomes attached to their parents. And then we have this national pride. I am from this country, and you wave your flag very proudly. And then once we die, then we may go to a country which we did not like, or we hated this country. Then we become that person, that country, proud of being in that country. And then with that country, and so on. And we can see this even nowadays, how ridiculous actually to be have a national pride is by looking at sports. Nowadays, before it was the sports, Germany. Nowadays, people can come from some country and ask, can I have your citizenship? And they get citizenship, and then you are playing for this country, or you're running for this country. So there's no more, he's not born there, or she's not born in this country. But because they got a paper which says you are the citizens of such and such country, and you are wearing a flag, and but it's nothing to do with you, and nothing to do with this country. And as the time progresses, it will become more and more, but the you can say grace of globalism. So people are losing these backgrounds, or even so many people, for example, in Germany, we saw here during the Europameisterschaft, people display the flag of Turkey, although they're probably citizens of Germany, but somehow there's a national pride, although they're living in different countries. This is kind of very strange to understand. But and so on and so on. And their children who are born here, many times, children are born in Germany, for example, but they are members, their parents are coming from Turkey, for example. So they are neither Germans, neither Turks, because they never went to Turkey. We met one girl, and she's from Morocco. Her parents is from Morocco, but she never went to Morocco. She's born in Germany. But in the school, she was always considered a foreigner because she has a different accent or whatever, different color of the hair. And then once she went to Morocco, she wanted to see her roots. And she went to Morocco, and she was feeling like a foreigner there. So she was a double foreigner. So and her kids, who knows? Maybe she married a person from Australia, and then what is a total mess. Especially these strange marriages, like strange. I mean, not similar cultures. Like in America, I remember I met father Japanese, mother black, and her mother's father was Hungarian, something like this. So there's such a mix of Japanese, Hungarian, black, So what do you say? Where are you from? Or how can you say I'm proudly standing for this and this flag? So this is just a little example, but the point here is the bodily platform. Bodily platform is that which causes us to identify. And if we don't identify with the country, then we identify with the job we do. We identify with the race. I'm black. I'm Indian. I don't talk only to Indians. I don't talk to, I'm Russian. I speak only to Russians. I don't speak to other. These are not my race. This is a bodily platform. And Krishna consciousness is supposed to clear this bodily platform, but it's not easy because bodily platform is deeply ingrained. And therefore, devotees, as this verse says, that is very difficult to understand the mind of a devotee. Here, as Prabhupada says here, in the purport, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Indra, not Ritasura, was actually killed, and he explained this whole thing. And Prabhupada says here that it is, nobody can understand the mind of a devotee. Vritasura was a yoga samadhi, and he thought, okay, I've done my job, my duty. Although he was a demon, he thought I have to also execute my duty properly. So he executed duty properly to the end. I killed Indra, I'm done. Although Indra was still alive, but he did his job. So then Indra came and killed him from inside, somehow or other. But the reason is it because he could kill him because Vritasura was already dead. He thought, I did my job, now it's my time to go somewhere else. Meaning to return to go back to Godhead. We see also in the pastimes of Bhishma Deva. Bhishma Deva also, he did his duty. I did my duty, I fought, I lost, I died. And he was laying there just waiting to see Krishna. I want to die, but then just waiting to see Krishna. So when Krishna came and all the Pandavas, and they came to see Bhishma Deva sitting on these arrows, he was pierced with so many arrows on the ground as he appeared as he is lying on the bed of arrows. Like this, how you call these people? Fakirs, yes, who are laying on the nails. I saw this in India. I think, wow, this is, or they lay in the thorns. They have a thorn bush, and they lay inside of the thorn bush. Must be all this piercing, and just sitting there. So this is Bhishma Deva was laying like this, but he said, okay, I died already. I'm done with my duty, but I want to now see Krishna and go back to God. So it is very difficult to understand the mind of a devotee. Externally may appear one thing, like you think like, okay, he's killed now, Bhishma Deva, or Vritasura is killed, but in reality, he actually, or you can say Vritasura was a demon. If you don't have Srimad Bhagavatam, we will not know what did Vritasura think. Because Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't just describe the external events. Like, for example, we have a history of the world. And these are external events. Napoleon did this, he conquered this, he did this. But only, we don't know what he taught, unless he has written or he has spoken something. We don't know what he taught. Like, for example, when I read, for example, some philosophy part from the ancient world, like there's a philosopher called, the very first philosopher, I just cannot think about now. No, this is later on. So his philosophy was that everything was water. Everything was water. Everything comes from water. But there's no book that he has written. All the books are destroyed. He's written some books, but books are destroyed. Actually, talking about this, Aristotle, there's no single book of Aristotle. These are all lectures, notes, taken by his disciples in the form of notes, so that we have something what he spoke. But the books of Aristotle are destroyed. There was in Alexandria, there was a library, and the huge library, thousands and thousands of manuscripts are burned. All these books, we don't know what kind of books we had lost. Anyways, this is the point. So we don't know these people at all, what really happened at that time. And not just that, but we don't know what did they think. Like, for example, these first philosophers, we don't know. So, Thales is the first philosopher. So, the point here, if we don't have Srimad Bhagavatam, we will never understand what, for example, Jada Bharat felt. Because externally you see some dumb person, disheveled, not dressed well, not showering, and you think this is a crazy person. And but we can see Jada Bharat was very advanced, very, very advanced. And the reason why he acted like this is because he did not want to make any more chances to fall down again, to be born again. So therefore he just acted like this. So we glorify Jada Bharat, but only because we have Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, another thing is we have this, by the grace of Bhakti Vikaswami, we have a book called Vamshidas Babaji. Vamshidas Babaji was also looking like this, disheveled, never took shower, but he was very highly elevated devotee. But there's no what he taught in his mind. We can just see externals, and the externals is that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati approved that this is a pure devotee. So therefore, devotees, we accept authority of the guru or sadhu, and we accept his authority that he was a pure devotee. Always engaged in Vatsalya Rasa. Full time, 24 hours engaged in Vatsalya Rasa. Thank you. So things like this. There's so many other examples also in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have example of other example of a devotee who you could not know unless it's revealed by Srimad Bhagavatam. Who was actually, I don't want to say hiding his advancement. It's Durvasa Muni and Maharaj Ambarish. Maharaj Ambarish was just externally just a king who was living very nice life. He was not a brahmachari, he was not a sannyasi, not like very great scholar or anything, but he was always engaged. And we know this how? Because it is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Because we know it's not like thousands of people can watch what king is doing now. He's always engaged, worshipping the deity, cleaning the temple. We did not know this. And no other people probably also did not know. But Srimad Bhagavatam explains, and then when Durvasa thought, who is this king? In the eyes of the renunciate, king is considered like, attached household. And our own Srila Prabhupada also. Nobody could understand Srila Prabhupada's advancement. Nobody. In Gaudiya Math, some people, saw this, he's into preaching, he's advanced, but nobody could really understand who Prabhupada was. The Prabhupada could conquer the whole world. Nobody could predict that Prabhupada would build Temple of Vedic Planetarium in Mayapur. Nobody, no person. Although all these devotees, advanced devotees who were chanting 120 rounds, some of them dedicated, austere, sannyasis, nobody. Because Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyeha na Bujaya, Prabhupada quote this verse. Nobody can understand the mind of Vaishnava. So this is the very interesting, you can say, lesson. Also, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, nobody could understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the beginning, when he was Nimai Pandit, they thought, oh, he's some puffed up young boy who is just walking around and harassing people. People could not understand that he is Krishna himself. He did not reveal himself. So unless Krishna reveals, unless Srimad Bhagavatam or other devotee reveal to us, it is very difficult to understand these things. So therefore, whatever we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever we know about Lord Chaitanya, is only because they wanted to reveal themselves. That's all, really. Otherwise, how would we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of God? We would not know. Without Chaitanya Charitamrita, we would not know. We would not know. In the history of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was displaying these amazing pastimes of Kirtan, even in Puri, people did not understand who Lord Chaitanya was. They were just attracted by his effulgence and they thought he's very special, but they did not know who he is. Because Chaitanya Charitamrita, we could read, oh, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Radha Krishna Pranaya, we could take Radhini Shakti, that he is actually united Krishna, Radha and Krishna with Radhini Shakti and Krishna, united together. This is a combined form of Radha and Krishna. Now we understand. We do not know. So we should understand our position, that we do not know unless it is told us, or unless this is explained to us from some higher source. In the same way, we cannot think that we can make extraordinary spiritual advancement unless it is revealed to us by some higher sources. Interesting enough, Prahlad Maharaj also, once he was traveling as a king, because later on when he became older, he became king, and he was traveling through his kingdom, and he saw on the ground, on the middle of the road, a fat man lying on the floor, on the earth. But he realized this is a very, very, very renounced person, because at that time you could see. That's why this is the beauty of Varnashram Dharma. That by dress, just the way somebody is dressed, we immediately recognize, oh, he's a grihasta, he's a sannyasi. And this person was dressed as a transcendental, beyond the ashrams. And Prahlad came to him and he said, my dear sir, how, first of all, I said this last time, how are you fat? Because what are you eating here in the forest? You're laying on the ground, obviously not doing anything, not endeavoring to eat. How are you so fat? So this person explained, is that sometimes I'm skinny, sometimes I'm fat. Sometimes I'm this body, sometimes I'm this body. Sometimes I go to this planet, sometimes I go to that planet. He said, this is everything is just, whatever is our external circumstances, this is all arranged by our destiny. Then he said here, Prahlad Maharaj, neither by the saintly person activities, by his bodily features, by his words, nor by the symptoms of his varnashram, could people understand whether he was the same person they had known. This is, I thought, a very interesting verse. The people in this area, they did not know, is it the same person we knew from before or not? Because sometimes in the Vedic time, in the old times, the person from village takes sannyas and leaves. We're hearing this Bahuda, Kutichak, these two stages. In the initial stages of sannyas, that you just don't sleep in your house, but you wander around in the area where people know you, and people give you some food and so on and so forth. But after some time, some years of austerities, People change even their face, people change their appearance, they're starved or they're skinny or they're... And people could not understand, was he the same person or not? They did not know who he is. Maybe he was. Like when Vidura came back from the 30 years of going to visiting the holy places throughout India, when he came back to the palace and he met everybody was, in the beginning they couldn't recognize him because 30 years is a long time, and also not just 30 years, but he had a completely different lifestyle. He lived like a sadhu, lived a austere life and prayers, and so they couldn't, in the beginning they were like wondering, is this the same Vidura? And they went, oh, this is Vidura, Uncle Vidura. So, Prabhupada says here, in the inhabitants of this particular place on the bank of the river Kaveri, when unable to understand, was this saint the same man they have known? It is therefore said, Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vigyena Bujhaya. A highly advanced Vaishnava lives in such a way no one can understand what he is or what he was. Nor should attempts to be made to understand the past of a Vaishnava. So, and Prabhupada says here, Prahlad Maharaj immediately just offered obeisance to this person. He did not know what was his past, what was his now status, but he saw this person is a saintly person, I offer my obeisance to him. So Prabhupada says here, attempts should not be made to understand the past of a Vaishnava. Like Prabhupada said, for example, in one instance, that his past life, he said he saw his past life, Prabhupada says, and in my past life I was sinless and I was worshipping Guru with great dedication. Prabhupada, this is the revelation of Prabhupada's past life. Because he wanted us to know. So it is interesting, that we all have past lives and we all have, but the real thing is whatever was in the past, it's in the past. Now is the time that we surrender to Krishna, and we should perceive the devotees from who they are now. They are devotees and therefore glorious. Nectar Instructions, today's Rupa Goswami's disappearance, says that whoever chants Hare Krishna mantra should be respected as a Vaishnava, as the greatest personality in this world. So, this is what I wanted to say about this verse, and now I want to connect a little bit to Rupa Goswami's, because Rupa Goswami is such an important personality to our Sampradaya. He's the most important person after Lord Chaitanya to us. Of course, after Panchatattva, Nityananda and Advaita. But Rupa Goswami is actually very, very important devotee. And so much so that our Sampradaya devotees, we are calling ourselves Rupa Nugas. We are followers of Anuga, means the followers of Rupa Goswami. Because Rupa Goswami, first of all, is very, very empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And number two, which is more important, Rupa Goswami could be our leader in the spiritual world. Rupa Manjari. Rupa Goswami, his original form, as we know, is Rupa Manjari. And Manjari is the assistants of the gopis, and our Sampradaya, as every Sampradaya has a certain, you can say, Ishta Devata, worshipable deity, and the process, which is the ultimate goal here, there's a verse actually which I wanted to read, is there's Lord Chaitanya empowered Rupa Goswami, and this is the verse which describes how Krishna Tattva Bhakti Tattva Rasa Tattva Pranta Sabba Shikaila Prabhu Bhagavat Siddhanta. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, taught Srila Rupa Goswami the ultimate limit of the truth about Lord Krishna, the truth about devotional service, and the truth about the transcendental mellows culminating in conjugal love between Radha and Krishna. Finally, he told Rupa Goswami about the ultimate conclusions of Srimad Bhagavata. So we'll go through this again. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Pranta, Sabha Shikaila Prabhu, Bhagavat Siddhanta. So Shiksha, this is Bengali, Shikha, is actually Shiksha in Sanskrit. Shikaila Prabhu, Sabha Shikaila Prabhu means Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami in all these things. And number one is Krishna Tattva. Krishna Tattva is the truth about Krishna. Who is Krishna? Again, by the mercy of Rupa Goswami, we understand who is Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Vrajendra Nandan Krishna, who is eternally playing his pastimes in Vrindavan Dham. Because if you go to India, into any other ashrams or whatever, they will not know who Krishna is. They will say Krishna is Bhagavan, but they will not know the original position of Krishna, because there are many different Krishnas. There are Vasudeva Krishna, there's Dvaraka Krishna, there are different rasas of Krishna. Like for example, Krishna can be Vasudeva Krishna with 4 arms Krishna, which is found in Mathura, and so on. So Krishna Tattva, the truth about Krishna, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is actually Ekaleshvara Krishna Ara Sabhabritya. The Krishna is the person. From Krishna everything emanates. So Krishna Tattva. Then Bhakti Tattva, of the truth about devotional service. Because again, as I said the other day, Bhakti, people think it's love. Translated as love. If we don't have Prabhupada's translation of Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Devotion, we will not know what Bhakti is. In German there's a Bhakti Fest. Bhakti Fest. This is not a devotee event. It's in yoga groups and esoteric groups. They call it Bhakti Fest. But they have a different concept what Bhakti is. Love, as Prabhupada says, this is a nice sentiment. But Bhakti is not a sentiment. Bhakti is actually conscious effort to please the beloved. It is a loving sentiment with a conscious effort to please beloved. So meaning, Prabhupada call it devotional service. It's devotion, but it's a service to it. It has to be done. Something has to be done. So Bhakti Tattva, we have a nectar devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What is Bhakti? It's very elaborately described. Then, what is Rupa Goswami further was learned from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Rasa Tattva. Not just that, relate, but what is the relationship with Krishna? And by the grace of Rupa Goswami, we know that there's 5 different rasas. People do not know this. In India, nobody knows about rasas. Maybe somebody, not many. What is rasa? Relationship. They think it's Bhagavan and I go back to Bhagavan and that's it. But they don't know. They're going back to Vaikuntha is a Shanta rasa. And there's other rasas. And nobody at that time even knew what conjugal rasa is. Madhurya rasa, Ujjvala rasa. By the Rupa Goswami's grace, we can understand this. So Rasa Tattva also described. Then Pranta. Pranta is a very interesting, I was looking at this. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Pranta. Pranta means the ultimate limit. What is the ultimate limit of everything? Of course, Krishna is unlimited, we know. But the ultimate limit of everything is to be engaged in Krishna's devotional service. This is the ultimate limit. There's no higher than this. There's no higher than Madhurya Rasa. There's no high. This is the highest. And there is no higher than engaging in the service of Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna, the ultimate deities. There's no higher deities than this. There's no further. We cannot go further. We see that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is described when Ramananda Rai was speaking to Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Krishna Chaitanya asked him different questions, and he told him, what is the goal of life? And Ramananda said, the goal of life is to perfectly follow Varnashram Dharma, which is the goal of life. And Lord Chaitanya said, yes, this is true, but tell me something more. Meaning, this pranta is not reached. The limit is not reached. So then he told him, okay, tell me this. And he said, okay, to be engaged, to whatever. He was going on and on and on. And then he was going to different rasas. Shanta rasa, Madhurya rasa, the Dasya rasa is the highest. So yes, this is true, but there's more. And then he said, Madhurya rasa is the highest. And this is you can say this is the limit, but there's more to it. And the more to it, he was explaining the sentiments, to understand the sentiments of Radharani, Srimati Radharani are the actual highest. And Lord Chaitanya said, and Ramananda said, until now, nobody could ask me such a question about the finer sentiments of Srimati Radharani. So therefore, by this I understand that you are not different from Krishna himself. Brajendra Nandan Krishna. So it is the limit. There's no higher than this. Worshipping Radha Krishna. So he taught all these things to Rupa Goswami. Sabba Shikkaila Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya all taught him all this, Shikka. And then, after all this is done, he taught him more. And more is Bhagavad Siddhanta, the conclusion of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Rupa Goswami, you can see how much empowerment is there by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That to empower you to all this. Imagine Lord Chaitanya comes and gives you all this empowerment and you know everything suddenly. I mean, this is not ordinary person, first of all, Rupa Goswami. And second of all, like Rupa Goswami is like a walking treasure. You have a treasure, national treasure, probably in Germany. I don't know, I didn't study much, but no national treasure? Maybe they have, they keep all the golden bars, Every country has this kind of place. And so Rupa Goswami is a walking spiritual treasure. He has all this amazing knowledge and realizations, and he actually wrote all this for us so we can actually read it. And this is freely distributed. Nectar Devotion, you can buy it. You go to whatever, I think BLS services, how they call it in Gauradesh. I'm sure that you can just buy Nectar Devotion for 10 euros or whatever, 15 euros. It's amazing. It's just an amazing thing, freely distributed. And Rupa Goswami uttered some verses which I would like to say. If you like to go, you can go. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurati Namaha. This is the famous verse. We read it, we say it every day when we offer our food, when we chant this verse every day. And this verse was actually spoken by Rupa Goswami. So speaking the verse of Rupa Goswami, actually we are associating with Rupa Goswami. And this verse means, O most munificent incarnation, Namo Maha Vadanyaya. Vadanya is a munificent, very großzügig, or how do you say, herzig, the person, and he's the Maha Vadanya Vadaya, the most. Why? Krishna Prema Pradayate. He said, you're widely distributing pure love of Krishna. Krishna Prema. He just gives to everybody freely. Krishnaya, you are not different from Krishna. Krishna Chaitanya, your name is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Namne Gora Tvishe Namaha, that he has assumed the form of Srimati, golden color of Srimati Radharani, and he is himself not different from Krishna. So that's like the verse of Rupa Goswami which we are reading every single day. We recite this verse every day. Another verse by Rupa Goswami, and these verses, two verses are spoken when Rupa Goswami met Lord Chaitanya in Ramakeli. First, when they met, Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the two brothers, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they offered obeisances, repeated obeisances, over and over and over and over and over. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, please, do not be so humble, you are breaking my heart. Because they put it a straw, Dante Trina Kori. Trina, Dante, Trinada Pisunichana. So Trina is the straw and Dante between the teeth. Dante Trinakori, they put a straw between their teeth to show how humble they are. And these are the two verses what they spoke at that time. This is the one, Namo Mahavadanyaya. Second one is, I read only English. We offer our respectful obeisance unto the merciful, supreme personality of Godhead, who has converted all the three worlds, which are maddened by ignorance, and saved them from their diseased condition by making them mad with the nectar from the treasure house of love of Godhead. Let us take full shelter of the Supreme Personality of Krishna Chaitanya, whose activities are wonderful. So they also pray here that Lord Chaitanya has converted the whole world to become mad lovers and devotees of Krishna. At that time, the movement was not, converting the whole world, but they had a vision. They had a vision and understanding. By the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he's actually already converted the whole world. As also I read the other day, the Prabhupada says, Lord Chaitanya could actually save the whole world, spread the Krishna consciousness all over the world. But he was merciful enough to leave it for us. He just stayed there in India, and he left it for us to spread it all over the world. So these are the two verses spoken by Rupa Goswami. And I can say there's another very important verse, which I may read it at the end. But some of the main books written by Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction, also known as Nectar of Instruction, Nectar Devotions, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Instruction, Ujjvala Nilamani, Hamsa Duta, Mathura Mahatmya, Padyavali, Siddhanta Ratna, Kavya Kaushtuba. Mathura Mahatmya is the book, glorification of Mathura, of Vrindavan. And it's a very, very nice book. And in this, Rupa Goswami is compiled from different various scriptures, Puranas and other Vedas, the glorification of Vrindavan Dham. So imagine I don't know how could he read where he was living in Vrindavan in the forest. Where could he read all these things? But I can only think that he read them before he left to Vrindavan, and he remembered all this. And he compiled from these different verses, from different scriptures, and we have this Mathura Mahatmya. And it's amazing when you read, it's so inspiring, how Vrindavan Dham, Mathura is so spiritually potent that it says even one who spends one night is liberated. One night in Vrindavan, that's it. And so on and so forth. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, Shri Vrindavan Dham. So, also, Rupa Goswami, he apparently carved the deity of Govindaji. This is also an interesting thing. In Govindaji in Jaipur was a deity of Rupa Goswami, and the deity came to him in dream, and deity wanted to be carved by Rupa Goswami. So he carved the deity, and this Govindaji is still in Jaipur now. And this big temple which is built now, later on broken by the Muslim invaders, 2 floors. This temple had 4 floors. It was a huge, stories, not floors, huge building. And now it's already a huge building now. So these are the glories of Rupa Goswami. Of course, we have much more glories of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami, actually the real thing is publishing books for Rupa Goswami. This is the real, you can say, gift to the humanity, to the whole humanity. And Prabhupada is so important, our Srila Prabhupada, that he actually translated these books and distributed through the whole world. So you can see that this is the transcendental scheme, how would you say this simpler, transcendental plot to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And this will happen, whether we are helping it or not, it will happen. Because this cannot be just, the Rupa Goswami published all these books, Prabhupada spread it all over, and now suddenly This is not going to happen. It has to happen. It's just a matter of time. Prabhupada said here, temple construction is meant for general populace and neophyte devotees, but the business of advanced and empowered devotees is to write books, publish them, and distribute them widely. According to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, distributing literature is like playing on a great mridanga. Consequently, Prabhupada says, we always request members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to publish as many books as possible and distribute them widely throughout the world. By thus following the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, one can become a Rupanuga devotee. And Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and all other Goswamis had no fixed residence. When they joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan, they had no fixed residence. They were just living underneath a tree. And even that, they did not stay longer than 3 days, because then become attached to a tree. You know, you can see here in our garden behind, there's a bird who made a nest and is very attached to this place, and he's always going back there. This is his house now. So there's a tendency to be attached. You know, if you stay in your apartment longer than 2 years, 3 years, then you become attached. This is my house. And this for me was a very big revelation when I went back after 14 years. I visited my parents to my country, and I went to the apartment where I grew up. I was thinking, wow, this was my home. I thought this was my home. You know, but now as a devotee, we travel all over the world and live in the bus and vans and sleeping on the floor. And then when you see such an apartment, you think this is some apartment, middle of nowhere somewhere. But I thought for many, many years, this was my home. So Goswamis slept under different tree because they did not want to get attached. It's the nature of a person to be attached. But whatever attached to is attached to right. So Prabhupada says here, they stay beneath a tree for one day only, sorry, not even 3 days, 1 day only, and wrote huge volumes of transcendental literature. They not only wrote books, but chanted, danced, discussed Krishna, and remembered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Thus they executed devotional service. So this is the glorious personality of Rupa Goswami. And in all these things, Rupa Goswami, although he was the most powerful, the most influential, he was very, very humble. He said, although I am the lowest of men and have no knowledge, the inspiration to write transcendental literatures about devotional service has been mercifully bestowed upon me. He understood, this is not mine. So we as devotees, we also have to understand, if I have any knowledge, if I have any advancement, it's not because I am somehow great or wonderful personality. It's because it's bestowed upon me. When you look, as Prabhupada says, don't be surprised who leaves ISKCON, but be surprised who stays. This is such a prophetic words. Be surprised who stays in ISKCON. So, because who is safe in this world? When you look at who is safe, we think our mind, but the reason, of course, the process of Krishna consciousness is powerful if you apply it, but it's also mercy of Krishna. It's just the mercy of Krishna. Why somebody stayed, why somebody left. When I look at my life in the back, whatever years, and some people who are much, much more powerful than me, more intelligent, more devotional, they left the movement. And I wonder why. And why did I stay? Why did I stay? I don't know. It's the mercy of Krishna. Maybe I did something right. Maybe they did something wrong. But the point is it's the mercy of Krishna, as he says here. It's mercifully bestowed upon me. It means somebody gave it to me, mercy, so that I can actually do this. Therefore, Rupa Goswami said, I am offering my obeisances at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given me the chance to write these books. So he did not think, I'm a great author, you should read my books, this is very good. No, he thought it's by Krishna's arrangements. He wanted these books and he given me chance to write this. So this is the very nice attitude. You know, there's so much more to say about Rupa Goswami, which I did. I have prepared much, much more. How Rupa Goswami actually met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag. This is very nice story, nice pastimes. And how Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa Goswami. And there's so many wonderful things about Rupa Goswami, and also Rupa Goswami's history, and also Rupa Goswami's books. If you actually just go through each book, we can see this is such a nectar. So Rupa Goswami is the most important person in our lives, you can say, after our immediate spiritual master. Our spiritual master is most important, but Rupa Goswami is no different, because Guru is one. As Prabhupada says once, one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, because you are my spiritual master, when I leave my body, will you be also there? Are you my eternal spiritual master in the spiritual world? And Prabhupada answers very interestingly. This is really shocking when I was read. There's a letter. And Prabhupada answers the letter. He said, I would like to say this, but how is this so? How can this be so? Because we have so many different rasas and different tastes in devotional service. So it cannot be the spiritual master is everybody's in everybody's rasa at the same time. It's not possible. He said, but better understanding is that Guru is the principle. Is the principle. Of course, this is not again impersonal. We should not look at impersonal. All the gurus are the same. No, all the gurus have their own individuality. But the Guru, as a guru, concept of a guru is a principle. It's a principle to worship the spiritual master. We have all these wonderful, amazing spiritual masters in our movement also. We have so many. And but they're all connected. There's no difference between your spiritual master and ultimately, Prabhupada and Rupa Goswami. There should not be, at least, any difference. So, because when we worship one, we worship automatically everybody else. So Rupa Goswami is, today at least we can pray to Rupa Goswami and hope that he can give us some mercy, that we can continue practicing Krishna consciousness until this, what is the Sanskrit word here, what I was reading? The verse, pranta, the ultimate limit, so we can reach this ultimate limit of devotional service and return home back to God. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Because we are told everyone has to do his duty. But Fritasura was maybe not the body of a demon, but was an elevated devotee. He has to be a demon. So when he would say, no, I'm really a devotee, so I will not do my demoniac things. I mean, his duty is to be a demon. So he has to be a demon, or because otherwise he will be against Krishna's will.
One more time.
I'm sorry, I tried to...
No, one more time.
Fritasura has a demoniac and a body of a demon.
Yes.
But he was an elevated devotee.
Yes.
So he knew he was a devotee because he loved Krishna. What was his duty to be a demon?
What is you mean as a demon? What was his duty?
Yes, he has to be a demonic lifestyle because that is his duty. He's born as a demon.
Yes.
You know that? Okay, well, I'm a Shudra, so I have to live like a Shudra. You're a Brahmana, you have to live like a Brahmana. Now he is born as a demon. No, he has to live like a demon. Because otherwise you do something what's not your duty, and that's not good.
Well, we can see in the Shastras even, Shukracharya is the guru of the demons. So demon, I think this is the what word demon means. Demon, in what we think in demon is the coppery eyes, brown hair, whatever. But in reality, demon is, Prabhupada says, demon is a person who does not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he may look very nice. He may look very... Hiranyakashipu was not looking horribly with disheveled hair and living in the... He looked very nice. His body was he was very handsome. He was very educated. Hiranyakashipu was very... if you see him, probably you would think like, wow, this is a nice gentleman. So this is the one thing. What we think what the demon is and what in here demon is, like for example, Prabhupada also used the word prostitute. For us, prostitute means the one who stops the cars, but prostitute in Prabhupada's world is the one who is unrestricted, have a relationship with men. She may be very educated, very intelligent, dressed very nicely, having job, making millions, but if she has an unrestricted connection with men, is considered prostitute. So it's a different concept which we have. This is number one. And number two, even the demons knew, if I follow the Dharma, I'll get more powerful. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, when they wanted to, they saw the Indra messed up, in this thing. Indra messed up, he offended Brihaspati, and the demons understood, now is our chance. And they know that the principle of Dharma is to worship the Guru, you get power. So they start worshipping the Guru really quick and they get power. So demons in the Srimad Bhagavatam are not like demons we know here. Rolling the alcohol on the floor, murdering people. Demoniac means actually not accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when Vritasura was born, you can say from this yagya, his duty was to kill Indra. This was his duty. So he had to do his duty. Yes. So, if you have a Shudra duty, do your Shudra duty. Of course, it's a little bit more subtle with devotees. We do many times things we are forced to do, except in the role which we are not qualified, but for Krishna, there's nobody else, so we somehow have to do it. Because otherwise, I'm Brahmana, I'm not going to... there's a temple needs to, there's no bills paid, and you say, I'm a Brahmana, I don't. No, you have to go out and make money and try to manage the temple to pay, So sometimes for devotees, it's a little bit different. But still, this should not be an excuse. We still have to come to this point to actually worship the Krishna according to our dharma and our nature. Because if we don't do this according to our nature, we cannot be happy, and there will be no harmony, and we'll make a mess. Usually, this is my experience in ISKCON. If people think if they're brahmanas, they want to be kshatriyas, they want to lead, they make a mess. If the shudra, the worst thing is the shudra wants to be kshatriya. This is like a huge mess because they don't have brain for this, and they cannot take the fame, the authority, the money. They don't know how to do this, and they make a huge mess. So better to do your own duty, or temporarily. Temporarily may last 10 years, but not forever. You can last for some time, and then that's it. You are who you are. But people should be humble enough to accept, I'm a Shudra. I'm not a Brahmana. I should just ask others, how can I help you? How can I work for you? This has to be humility. Not like, now how can I work for others? No, you can work for others. If you're Shudra. If you're not Shudra, you cannot work for others. You don't have a nature to work for others. You cannot. If you're Vaishya, if you have an urge to make money, if you like these things, you cannot be a Kshatriya. Sometimes Vaishyas can be good temper present, but mostly not. Mostly, if they're into money, they will look everything through money. One temple when I was very young devotee, and I remember I came back from Sankirtan, and I was so happy. I just came, and I was so happy, and I said, temple president asked me, how did you do? And I said, I did 27 books. He said, I don't ask you books, how much money did you make? I was like, excuse me, Because the Dhamma President was Vaishya, he could not understand the value, although we are devotees, but he could not understand that one book is changing person. He could, of course, but I'm just saying. So better to act according to your own nature. It's safer for everybody. Okay, then I didn't want to speak so long, but anyways, Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.